My sister, 29-year-old female, and I, 26-year-old male, are not close. We come from a toxic family. We have 3 other siblings neither of us speaks to, and our parents were the overly strict kind of parents who veered into bullying with how tough they would be on us. Nothing was good enough. If we weren't getting A's, we were in trouble. And if we did get A's, but we didn't make any progress in our jobs that we had in high school, we were told that at their age, back in their home country, they were earning enough to help feed their families and were also expected to do well in school. They would also say we had it good. Friends were overrated in my parents' eyes. Being sick was not an excuse to miss anything. One time I was in the hospital after a severe allergic reaction, and my parents went to my teacher and brought me schoolwork to do. I was 8 years old at the time. Another time I had a really bad flu, and my parents did let me stay home from school. But my B on the test we had the week I went back was a grounding offense. I never had a good relationship with any of my siblings, but my sister has made attempts for us to remain in touch, and she wants a closer relationship with me. But she has her issues left over from our parents that can make her unbearable. She calls herself my elder. Before she got married, she expected my help just because I was a man and she was a woman. We're both married now. My wife and I are expecting our second child. My sister is expecting her first. She invited my wife and me to lunch with her and her husband to announce the news to us and to announce they were having a boy. My sister was not happy. She started complaining that she wanted a family of all girls, and how could God do this to her? She said she'll never be the grandma. She'll always be the dad's mom. And if she's having a boy now, she's probably going to have a family of all boys. My wife pointed out that dad's family doesn't mean you're not close, and she pointed out that her mom is extremely close to her dad's family, and that she never had a single thing to do with her mom's family. She also said that her 3 brothers and their families are very close, and they are adored by their grandkids. My sister dismissed my wife's reasoning and said she knows nobody who could say that. She was also rude to her and told her she was interrupting a conversation she wasn't part of. I got pissed at her for talking to my wife like that and told her she was out of line. In return, she was pissed and said it was easy for me to say because my wife and I are expecting a girl, that we didn't get stuck with a useless boy only. I lost my cool and asked her why she got pregnant, then if she was going to reject a boy and refuse to even try seeing it as a good thing. She told me because she wanted only girls, and it was none of my business anyway. Am I the idiot? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot, and I feel bad for that poor baby because his mother is going to resent him from the minute he is born. Your sister has issues, and while what you said may have been a bit rude, you are right in the sense of, why in the world is she having kids if she only wants one gender? What a sin. Please don't let your nephew grow up feeling unloved. I hope the father is at least a caring man and not an ungrateful crapbag of a human like your sister seems to be. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Sister, I invited you to lunch to share my disappointment that we're having a boy. Brother and wife. Don't be disappointed, girls are great. Sister, you're wrong, and it's none of your business anyway. Your sister seemed like a little much. Your response is by no means out of line. My heart goes out to your nephew-to-be. He's in for a world of emotional abuse. Comment 3. Not the idiot, you're right. You don't really get to choose anything about your kids, genitals, gender, personality, appearance, or aptitude, and that is something you have to make peace with before deciding to have children. If your sister has that much of a preference, she isn't ready to be a parent. Now, for the next story. I, 47-year-old, has a child, Julie, 16 years old, and a niece, Mary, 15 years old. My husband is a doctor and I am in finance. Between us, we make a substantial income. My niece's parents, that is my sister and her husband, died in an accident 3 years ago. They had significant debt, and there was little left of their estate after settling it. My mom, who had retired, took Mary in. Mary was never an A-grade student, but after this, her grades started sinking even more. My mom tried to help her, but Mary seemed like she had given up. We sent her to therapy, but that didn't seem to help much. In the last exams, she failed half of her subjects and had to go to summer school. Before this year started, we tried telling her what failing would constitute and to try harder. I offered to cover her college fees if she kept her grades high enough to get into one. She didn't look motivated at all. As a last resort, I offered her if she could maintain a GPA above 3.5 throughout school. I would give her money equivalent to college, that she could use for anything: school, travel, or a down payment on a job. Her choice. Getting her to graduate was more important to me. Julie came to know of this offer yesterday, from Mary, who asked Julie's help to study. Julie approached me asking why I never offered such a deal to her. I told her we always told her we would pay for her college. Julie said that's not the same as offering free money for maintaining a GPA. I reminded her that she is a top student who maintains an average GPA of 4 and has dreams of getting into college. Mary isn't like that, and this is one way to motivate her to graduate. Julie says I am showing favoritism. She involved my husband, who says we should at least offer the same deal to Julie, but frankly, I am scared this deal would derail her from college. Am I the idiot for not offering the same incentive to her? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Yeah, I'm sorry for Mary's situation, but I have to go with, you're the idiot. I've never been a huge fan of money for grades to begin with. In this instance, I think it's a terrible idea. You're paying Mary for something that Julie has been doing without incentive because you are desperate to define success as graduating with a 3.5 GPA. That's not success. Success looks different for every child. Further, giving Mary money for grades probably means that she'll burn through that money, and when it's gone, she'll just want more. What is this really teaching Mary? Nothing. You feel sorry for her because her parents died. That's understandable. But giving her a huge sum of money because of it just isn't the right play here. Comment 2. You're the idiot. You're offering a kid a crapload of money, or what is at least a crapload to an 18-year-old, to just graduate and maintain a 3.5. Your niece is not going to college if they have given up in high school and will have no clue how to properly use that money. Tell me honestly if you would trust an 18-year-old yourself with $50,000, $200,000. As for your daughter, she is right. It's unfair to offer money under the same condition, but with different clauses. On one hand, it feels controlling of your daughter, and on the other, it feels devil-may-care about your orphan niece, who no longer has parents there to help guide them through the nightmare that is adulthood. Comment 3. You're the idiot, and I think this move is extremely unwise. From Mary, who asked Julie's help to study, you are breeding resentment, and I would not be surprised if this will lead to Julie refusing to help Mary, or perhaps even sabotaging her by teaching her something incorrect. Also, I reminded her that she is a top student who maintains an average GPA of 4 inches. Now that you soured her success, I wonder how long she will continue being a top student. She might stop very fast. I know I would. Now for the next story. My 32-year-old uncle and his wife, who is 69 years old, recently hosted a family BBQ at their home. This is normally a rotating thing, so everyone in the family takes turns hosting. My uncle is a very difficult man to get along with, and I mostly went because it is important to my 66-year-old mom. He is very rigid in his beliefs and will make it very clear to you if you have done something to offend him. Once that has happened, there is no chance for redemption, regardless of whether you are family, friends, or a stranger. While at the BBQ, everyone was standing around, and my 6-year-old daughter helped herself to a banana from the fruit bowl. Now, obviously, you shouldn't take anything that doesn't belong to you without asking, but she is 6, and manners are still being learned. Not saying she was right in this. That being said, my uncle lost his mind. He called her a thieving brat and started threatening to call the cops. I stepped in, and he told me to pack up my stuff and go because he didn't want thieves in his home. He told me that neither myself, my daughter, nor my 33-year-old husband would ever be welcome again, because clearly, this was a taught behavior. I was furious. I told my uncle that this intolerance was why he has no friends and why we only visit his home out of obligation. I told him that without my mom's family values, there wouldn't be anyone at the BBQ. In the middle of this, he pulled out his phone to call Mr. Police and ask how a little girl would survive in prison. My daughter was beside herself, so I gathered her and my husband, and we left. Apparently, after we left, my uncle was ranting and raving, and eventually, my 24-year-old cousin, not his child, told my uncle that he was lucky he didn't try with someone else in the family because I was still polite in what I said. She told him that she refused to eat at the home of someone who thought it is okay to bully a child. As my cousin left, apparently quite a few people followed, and suddenly it was just my uncle and his wife left. His wife has been calling me, telling me that I humiliated him in his own home and I can't expect his generation to be politically correct. She has also told me that he has been moping ever since because he feels like an outcast in the family and that I shouldn't have been so harsh. I am glad I stood up for my daughter, but I never intended for everyone to leave as a result of the banana. Now I wonder if I was too much. Was I the idiot? Now, for the next story. My 26-year-old female, husband, 29-year-old male, and I were invited to my in-laws for dinner yesterday. Everything was going great until my mother-in-law brought up my husband's player phase in high school. My mother-in-law was just jokingly saying, honestly, him in high school, I never thought he would actually settle down with somebody. And my father-in-law was like, yeah, even less with someone like you. I asked him what he meant by that. Both my mother-in-law and husband were then like, please no, in a, oh, he's gonna mess up way. My father-in-law said, well, you weren't exactly his type in high school, you know? My husband tried to make him stop after that, but my father-in-law added, not saying you weren't pretty enough or anything like that, you just wouldn't have caught his eye. I got up from the table and went to the bathroom. I was not even in there for 5 minutes when my husband knocked and told me we were leaving. Once we were home, my husband received a text from his mom saying that my reaction was childish and disrespectful and that we wouldn't be invited again until I apologized. My husband replied that I would only apologize if my father-in-law apologized first. He didn't get an answer, but his sister texted me that I needed to apologize ASAP because I was putting my husband's relationship with his parents at risk over a misunderstanding. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. My 2 cents. Tell your husband that it is okay he had a slutty phase in school and that he got loads of dates with conventionally attractive women. Tell him you really appreciate him standing up for you. Tell him that you will not see his father until the father publicly apologizes for physically comparing you to hubby's past lovers. Tell your husband you love him. Comment 2. Not the idiot. First off, your husband is a keeper. I'm happy that he stood by your side. As for apologizing, why should you apologize when you're the one who was insulted? Your father-in-law should have kept his mouth shut. Do not apologize for anything. Your father-in-law should apologize to you since he was the one who decided to be an ass. Comment 3. Not the idiot. He said something inappropriate. Then he made it worse. Everyone was telling him to stop, and he kept going. The only person ruining a relationship is your father-in-law for being shallow, and your mother-in-law for backing him, even though she knew he was wrong before he even said it. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for being mean to my ex for not making his full child support payments on time? I got pregnant at 28 with my daughter, and her dad ghosted me and ignored every call and text I ever sent. I made an honest effort to track him down so that he could know his daughter and for her to know her father. I even contacted his relatives and was also ignored. I finally gave up after about 3 years because I was a single parent and just needed to move on. Fast forward to her being 5 years old and starting to ask questions on why everyone else has a dad but not her. It was hard for me to answer because I didn't want to stain her mind just in case he starts coming around. I feel father-daughter relationships are important and my opinion of him was not hers. I told her he's working far away and I had lost contact with him. I met my now husband who has 2 boys shortly after she turned 5. We are happy and things are great. The 5-year struggles my daughter and I had are finally behind us. A year later, I was working at a dealership, and guess who walks in? Yep, her deadbeat dad. But not just him. He was with a woman and a little girl and a baby in tow. I didn't want to make a scene at my work, so I made sure he didn't see me, but when he left, I went to the sales associate they were talking to. I explained the situation, and he was more than happy to pass along the number he gave them. I wanted to talk to my husband to see if I should just let it go or try to pursue some child support. We both agreed that it is the right of the child to have that support and would give her a better quality of life. So I sent him a message saying who I was and that it's time he starts to contribute to our daughter and we could work something out together without going to court. Lawyers are expensive. He agreed, but wanted a paternity test. I understand that and agreed, told him to set it up. He mentioned he doesn't make a lot of money and wouldn't be able to afford much, but a little is better than nothing. Then I was ghosted again. A couple of years and some court hearings, and finally he was paying child support. I didn't go after back support, because I realize he has another family. Mr. I don't make much has actually been earning $200,000 a year the whole time. The judge ordered him to pay child support based on his yearly earnings and back support for the 2 years he wasted the court's time when he should have been paying. He wasn't happy about that, but in my opinion, it's his own mess. Now he's never paid on time or in full and has an excuse every time. I've had enough and gave him a piece of my mind, and I didn't hold back. He says I'm an idiot because I don't know or care about his situation. It's very easy for someone to make me feel guilty, so now I'm wondering, am I the idiot? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot, NGT. He says I'm an idiot because I don't know or care about his situation. Really? His situation? How about your situation, the fact that he ghosted you, leaving you alone with your daughter? How dares he calling you an idiot? How about the first 5 years of her life that he didn't contribute to? The court said what he should do, and if he's not doing it, you get back to them. Comment 2. LOL, he's totally gaslighting you. He hasn't known you for years or cared about your or his own daughter's situation. He's a real peach. You have every right to receive child support, and you should have gone back farther. I think you've been more than generous and patient with him. Good for you giving him a piece of your mind. You've earned it. Not the idiot good luck. Comment 3. Child support is for the benefit of the child. I hope he is in a state like NY, which will allow you to force him to pay for her long after 1821, which will give her a leg up with college costs. His situation is his business. Your business is making sure your child gets the maximum support that she should get. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.